We just all kind of stand.
Hi, everybody. Hi.
Hi.
Lots of you. There you go. Can everybody hear us?
We get like a thumbs up if you guys can hear us.
Yeah.
All right, good. Okay, cool.
Perfect. So my name is Coach Tyler. This is Coach Chase, and we're with Project Pure Athlete. We're going to do our best to get through today. Obviously, the technology makes things a bit funny, so we appreciate all your patience and, of course, having us here with you today. For those that don't know who we are, they call us the Jump Guys. Well, because we kind of eat, sleep, live, and breathe all things jumping from a performance and the jump technique side of things. So I understand that all of y'all are going to be doing some kind of post-testing. You've already done some testing, if I'm correct. Is that correct? Yes, thumbs up-ish, kind of some of you. Okay. So our goal today is to, number one, kind of overview the importance of some of the most overlooked factors of how to jump your highest.
Yeah, I was going to say, most importantly, we're here to just give you guys some tips that'll help you jump higher than you did before. You know, jumping higher is always a great thing where we wanted to get you guys better results. So we just have a few pointers today to go over that'll help you do so.
Yeah, I mean, this week alone, both Coach Chase and myself have tested over 400 jumps on a variety of different athletes from both volleyball and the sport of basketball. So when we say that we are jumping, like this is on a weekly basis, this is what we're doing. I mean, you'd be hard pressed to find anybody that's tested as many jumps as we have in person. So that's the goal today. Number one is going to be the concept of intent. How many of you are familiar with the concept of intent as it relates to sport? Hands, show of hands if you've heard, like the term intent. Okay. So in the world of jumping, the concept of intent applies to what's the environment you're creating for yourself when you are trying to jump your highest. This means starting that kind of holistic mindset approach even before you step foot in the gym, right? We're trying to get ourselves in the mindset of thinking as explosive and powerful as possible to be as explosive and powerful as possible. Okay, so it all starts obviously up in that mindset. I think we potentially should get obviously moving through some drills, but obviously add some stuff.
No, I was just saying the general idea, what we're trying to do here is with an approach jump, you're trying to convert horizontal momentum and acceleration into vertical speed, right? So we're just trying to redirect that force from horizontal to vertical. In doing so, positions and leverages are super important. The way that we control our mass and our body relative to how we're jumping is going to help you get the most results possible. When our mass moves too far forward, likely we're going to be slowing that jump down at the end. It's going to lead to less results. So we're just going to go through some of these drills and techniques today to help you learn to get in those right positions. They'll get you better results with your jumps.
Does that sound good? All right. So try to find a little bit of space. Obviously, you can spread yourself out there. We want to be able to see as many of you as possible. But obviously, we're dealing with a computer screen, so we're going to do our best. All right. A little bit of space. What's that? Yeah. So what we're going to do is we're going to be starting. Coach Chase is going to demo here. I'm going to be the voice off to the side. We're going to be starting with what's called our penultimate stride. So in a jump, you obviously are familiar with your plant sequence or your last two contacts. If you're a right-handed hitter, you're likely a right-left plant. How many of you are right-left plants? Hands up. How many of you swing right-handed? Okay. How many of you are left-right plants? Swing left-handed. Okay. So whatever you are, so if you're left-right, you're going to take a step forward with your left. And if you're right-left, you're going to take a step forward with your right. So Coach Chase is stepping forward with his left. I want you to place that foot out in front as if you were to be doing the last couple strides of your approach jump. Okay. Get that foot out in front. And I'm talking like step that foot out a fair amount in front of Chase. Turns sideways. You can see he's striding that leg out a fair distance. And now what I want you to do is sink your hips down just slightly into that back leg. So you're going to kind of lower yourself just slightly into that back leg while trying to maintain a relatively upright chest posture. You notice how his torso is fairly straight up and down? That's where we want to be. Now, do me a favor. Turn sideways to the camera so I can see you sideways. Do this exact same thing, but turn sideways. Take a big step out. Further, like double the length you're stepping right now.
It's going to feel a little uncomfortable being on that back leg. That's perfectly fine. In the jump, it's not going to feel like that. It moves super, super fast. Right now, we're just trying to learn the posture.
So do a nice exaggerated step there, coach. Good. That front foot, I want you to turn the toe out to about 2 o'clock if you're looking at a clock, if it's a right foot, or 11 o'clock if it's your left foot forward. So turn that front toe out just slightly and make sure the weight is on the heel and the outside edge of the foot. Does that make sense? Keep the weight on the heel and the outside edge of your foot. Now, arms. Extend your arms backwards. We call this sending the arms. Do your best to visualize right now in your jump where you'd be positioned. This is obviously as we're setting up to make our last 2 contacts. Good. And now what we're going to do is, with that front foot forward, I want you to take a slow step and place down your last contact and hold that position. Step forward as if you're about to take off and jump. You should still be lower into your jump, similar to how you would actually be jumping. Take a look at Coach Chase here. So walk him through again, Coach. So watch as he steps forward. Take a bigger step. Good. And then place that foot down. And then watch what his arms are doing. So the arms go from being extended in the back. As he steps forward, the arms are striking down with the contact of that last foot. Okay? The key here to understand, just stand up and rest for a second. The key here to understand is this is a segmented look at the last bit of your jump. Okay? It feels strange because you're doing it super slow, but what we're showing you here is the timing and movement of that last foot and the arms as we're trying not to swing the arms as much as we're trying to strike the arms down, dig, and then extend overhead. Okay, so we've always referred to this as an arm swing. The problem with the concept of an arm swing is that the swinging motion tends to throw our body very far forward. And when we're trying to test and milk our body for every single inch that it has inside of it, we need to be able to redirect our energy up, okay? So we're gonna test jump probably slightly different than when you would attack jump. We're gonna redirect your momentum more vertical, okay? So let's do that same thing again. I want you to start by first, before you take that step, lower your whole body, kind of sit down into your hips just slightly. Then walk that foot forward. And I'm talking like really walk it forward. Like really exaggerate that stride. You want me to do that step for you? Okay. I'm going to walk you through the top here for this part. I'm going to try some stuff. Yeah. Maybe more exaggerated.
So we want to lower those hips down a little. So go back to the beginning. Lower those hips down just a little bit more. And then we're going to really push forward on that first stride. So instead of just like letting it fall out in front of you, I want you guys to sit your torsos back. So chest back, there you go. And then go and back to the beginning. Back to the beginning again. There you go. Now sit your hips down a little bit. Nice little squatty stance. Keep those chests back. As you stride forward, take a big stride. Try to get that foot way out in front of you. So rather than stepping it, watch Coach Ty here. As he does it, he's going to really extend that foot out in front.
Push. The word here is push. Push that foot forward. There's better. Now extend those arms back.
So what we're trying to do is we're trying to push off the back foot, the one that we're using to, not the one that we're stepping with, but the other one. We want to push off of that to create distance and speed as we step forward.
Could you also give the perspective directly at the camera?
Yeah.
Tyler?
You want to aim this way, Tyler?
Okay, so forward here, we're down.
All right, so things to notice here, one is he's extending, he's actually pushing off that back leg, creating a good amount of distance. Second is notice the toe slightly turned out to the side. So toe and knee are slightly turned out so that as he cycles this next foot forward, go ahead and cycle your block foot forward, this foot and hip gets slightly out in front of the body to create a braking force. So rather than being square, both feet being next to each other, this last contact, as he cycles it through, it gets out in front of the body to create a braking force so we can take that horizontal momentum and redirect it vertically.
We're here, arms are back. As you step forward, we want to keep that weight back on that right or left leg, whatever one's forward, and strike the back foot in front of the hip. Good, and then we take a checklist. We take a look at where our body is. We don't want to be too far forward. We still want to be over that back hip.
Show them, so side position when the block foot hits. So this is the plant foot that we're extending, we're pushing forward. Now as this next foot cycles forward, what we call the block foot, the mass is over this back leg, right? So I don't want the chest to be out here in between the legs. You want the weight to be over the back leg. Go show them again, Tyler.
So we're down, nice and tall. We're gonna push off of whatever leg is not going forward. Push, send the arms. The weight is back. We're gonna step the back foot through with the arms and keep the weight back.
So as you'll notice here, this is where his front leg is. Our mass is not over that front leg yet. The mass is all over the back leg. When you're doing it slow and walking through the positions, you should feel heavy on this back leg. Everything is stacked over top of this position and not in between here or over here. If you feel comfortable standing here, you likely need to shift your weight back.
So that's the position we're going to be dealing with. We're going to pick up some of the intent and speed on some of this movement, so it might start to feel a little bit more connected and all together. But that position, this kind of, we call our mid-flight position, will be the position that we're trying to get into at full speed. Okay, if we slow a video down and we take a look at you in this second last step, you will likely be to some degree in this position. Okay? Now what I want you to do is step yourself back into the same position that we had here. So stride that foot forward, bring that foot out. Good, yeah. We're going to walk the back foot halfway toward the front. Okay, so bring it in a little bit closer. The arms just behind the bum. Watch first. I'm going to bring my back leg through aggressively with my arm and pop off the ground. I'm staying low though. And then catch myself in a landing. I'm here. I bring my foot and my arms through at the same time. Strike the foot, strike the arms, pop off the ground, all in one motion.
So what we're working here is that last contact. So as you bring the foot through aggressively and the arms swing aggressively, remember not to swing the arms extended out in front of you. We're striking them in the same direction that the foot hits and then digging up the body.
Here, arms back, we dig with the arms, strike the foot, lift up.
Good. Now, when you do that drill really well, you'll likely feel yourself pop off the ground a little quicker than usual. So we're not actually trying to forcefully jump. We're trying to strike the arm, strike the foot aggressively so it helps us just pop off the ground.
I'll do one more time here. Nice and low. Weight is back. Arms are behind the bum.
Get those torsos back. There you go. Get those torsos back. Now, bring that arm or the block foot through and the arms aggressively. Pop off the ground. Great job.
I like it. Perfect. Okay. So now what we're going to do is synchronize that drill. That drill is called an impulse block with the first part of the drill we did, which is that penultimate jab. So I want you to watch. We lower ourselves down, we jab forward, and then we bring that foot through and strike and pop.
So all we're doing is we're putting those two drills together. So we're starting back at the beginning of the first drill, a little squatty stance. We're going to aggressively push that foot forward as we swing our arms back. So first step, first foot forward, arms back. Good. Keep the torsos back. Bring the block foot through, so that last foot through aggressively with the arm swing and pop off the ground.
Pop off the ground.
Good. So I see a lot of chest going forward as we do that. So just be mindful of trying to keep the chest and shoulders back as we transition into the arm swing. Good. There we go. Looking better. Good. Looking better for sure.
I like it. I like it. Let's do 5 reps of this just on your own. I want you to focus on getting off the ground quickly, landing under control, and the focus also being on where these arms are in relation to that last foot. They should be striking down and through with that foot. Okay, keep the eyes forward as if you're doing a normal approach. Give me 5 reps in a row of it. So lower down, jab the foot forward, arms back, good. Strike and pop, good. And really exaggerate your landings. Just cushion the landing for now, just to give the knees a rest. Good. Drive the foot, push, and punch. Good.
Good, good. Chest position is looking a lot better. Good. Keep a few more of those.
Yeah, a few more of those. We want to make sure we get some reps in because we're gonna take this up in dynamic nature on the next drill. Sorry, your guys' video is lagging a bit. I want to make sure we got all the. There we go.
Okay. All right, you want to transition into a push drill?
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to make this a little bit more dynamic. Same theory, everything's the same. Now when we push, we're actually going to be trying to cover distance, but we're not going to go into a jump. We're just going to cover the distance on that push. So we lower ourselves like that squatted stance to start. We take the pushing leg that we've established, and now what we're doing is covering distance to the opposite foot and kind of walking through the end. So we're here, and we push, and we catch ourselves.
So the thing to notice there is that it's not that kind of forward, just keeping our foot down step that it was in the initial drill. Now when you're actually pushing forward, we're pushing forward. We're trying to accelerate and cover a good amount of distance there on that initial push.
Okay, so let's try a couple reps of this. We lower ourselves down. See, I'm still in frame, good. And we push through that screen. Good, yeah, you're just covering distance. Let that back leg come through naturally. Don't worry about jumping. Yeah, perfect.
Good. Yep. Treat it as, in your mind, it should almost be like a mini jump, but we're not jumping up. We're jumping to push the hips forward aggressively.
Stay nice and low with the hips. Stay nice and low with those hips. Push, cover distance.
Good.
Good.
This one right in front of the camera here, and it looks like all black or maybe dark blue. Show that again.
Show yours again.
Everybody watch that one. Just watch her hips, how they go in a straight line as they go forward. Yep. Right. So what we don't want is the hips to go up and down. She does a great job of pushing the hips forward. That's what we're trying to create through that step is forward acceleration. Our jump, as we tie it all together, will go from slow to fast with the fastest portion of our movement coming through that push, creating that acceleration there at the end. So that was a great job.
Good. So we have that pushing behavior. We then move into kind of one of our staple drills, which we call our push-punch drill. The term push is really just to reiterate how important it is to accelerate through that stride, okay? The punch word is what happens with that last foot that we've determined, right? That last foot, when it comes through, is placed with the strike. We push through this stride, we punch the foot, we pop off the ground. And we pop off the ground. So push. Get up in the air, focusing, driving the hip, keeping the weight back, torso posture upright, and striking the arms with that foot. Okay? Let's give these a try. Here we go. Lower down, big push, big punch.
All right, good. So on those first reps, there's a little bit of the torso lean. Just be mindful here to, as you push aggressively with the hips going forward, keeping those shoulders back. That one
Better?
Yeah.
Good. Big push.
There you go. Good. Good. Now on those look much better. Now, as you bring that last contact, that last foot strike through, try to get it down quickly and aggressively into the ground with your arm swing. So it's arm swing, block foot, last contact are both quick and aggressive.
Push punch.
There you
That's
go.
good.
Nice.
Good. We see some good ones happening here. Very important that the eyes, I know that you're looking at your feet to make sure they do the right things, but that they remain forward and slightly up as if you were to be attacking or trying to touch the vertex. Okay, so kind of represent what you're doing in the end game and do it in your practice. Eyes forward, eyes up, big push with the hip, arms back, strike that foot and get up. Try it again. There you go. That was better.
Can I see right in the middle of the screen, there a red t-shirt? Raise your hand real quick. You're right there. Let me see you jump again. This time I want you to think about pushing forward aggressively on that initial push. So rather than kind of walking the step forward, really try to create some acceleration and some forward movement of that hip on that initial push.
Overly exaggerated, big push.
Yeah, we're trying to go real fast through that first push.
Here we go.
Unfortunately, the video on our side was laggy. It looked like your hips were maybe a little high to start. Let's lower the hips a bit, and then again, let's try to be real aggressive. Yep.
Big push. Come on. That's better.
That's better. Good. So what I'm seeing there, and what you guys might be able to see, is the distance, the amount of distance covered, and the amount of speed that she's bringing in through that push. It can be improved, right? So the more that we're bringing in speed there, the more momentum that we have to convert into vertical jump. So we're bringing that horizontal acceleration and transitioning it into vertical jump. When we go slower and we don't have really good intent through that push, there's not as much momentum there to convert. So just be mindful of trying to be aggressive with that push step, okay?
Okay, let's try one more rep for us, then I'm going to introduce one more variation of this to kind of get you moving over a bit of a longer approach, okay? So let's see it again. So lower down, big push, drive the hips, arms back, strike the arms. Here we go.
Nice.
Yeah, there are marked difference in just a few reps. I can see that a lot of you now are starting to understand the importance of what happens with the upper body. If we're moving through this big stride, and we lead that stride with our head and chest, okay, which is very, very common amongst volleyball world. We all know that. I know that. I played volleyball my whole life. You hit here and we're forward. It takes time to get this chest back up, and that time spent going like this is time that we're still accelerating forward. And when we end up taking off, we end up taking off very shallow. So when we're trying to optimize our vertical for testing purposes or getting up as high as we can in an attack, it's very important that this stride manages the chest posture, that the chest remains somewhat upright. How upright it is can vary, but we don't want to see it way down here. Does that make sense?
So what we should be feeling through those drills is when that chest is up and we're aggressive with those last two contacts, we just kind of pop off the ground almost effortlessly. It doesn't feel like a really muscled jump. Where the repetitions where the chest does come down, it feels a little slower and it feels a little more forced, right? Those slower forced reps slow everything down and takes away the momentum that we brought in from the approach. So that's why it's very, very crucial to get those torso and shoulders back in these positions.
Okay, let's try incorporating one more stride into this. So into our step, push, punch. So the push punch drill saw us from a stationary start. Now we're going to walk into that pushing foot. Okay, so if you're pushing off of your left foot, we're going to start by walking into our left, pushing from the left, and then approach and jump that way. So I push off my left, I walk left, push, punch the foot off the ground, and back down. Okay, so we're basically just adding one more step. Everything else stays the same. We're going from slow to fast. We're lowering the hips with that initial step. They stay low through that penultimate, and we pop off the ground and land controlled. Okay, let's give it a try. Okay, as we do this, be mindful of the behaviors that we talked about prior. Old habits will come back really fast as we start to get bigger approaches, which means if you are likely to do this like up and down movement, it's going to start happening, but we're mindful of it when we practice. We step, keep the hips low as we push. We don't want to go up and down. We want to go forward and down. Try it again. Step, push. Very good.
There's a few in there that were really good. Be mindful of that, the hips accelerating forward very, very quickly on that push step.
Okay, go again. step, push. There, that's not a lot better. Good. Do 3 more reps. Just keep going and we're going to watch.
Positions are actually in the middle of the screen, not the same red shirt, but the one behind you. Let's have you do a couple of reps. I just want you to think about this, the intent to push and create acceleration through that push step. So get your hips a little lower as you approach. There you go. Now you feel how you're almost kind of just, the foot is just kind of stepping out in front of you. I want you to think about almost like a mini jump to that step. So try to create a lot of acceleration going forward.
Do it again.
I'm sorry, the screen was a little laggy on our end. Can you do that one more time?
Big aggressive push. Push.
Okay. So right now, let's do that one more time. This time, start with the hips a little lower. Now think intent to be powerful on each step. We want to create distance and acceleration with every step.
That's better.
Good.
That was much better.
A little better. Let's really just do one more and really focus on pushing, like actually like extending that pushing leg and creating a lot of distance. There you go.
Okay,
Good.
it was a lot
Good
better.
job. Good.
That's a lot better. We want that. The feeling should be that you've gotten everything out of that push and that we're accelerating right through the point of takeoff, not to the point of takeoff.
Yeah. We don't want to, through that push, you don't want to get to those last 2 contacts and feel like you're slowing down and going into the ground again. You want to already be low. So once those last 2 contacts happen, you're just moving quickly.
Okay. Bring it in closer so we can talk for a second. So from a quick exposure drill perspective, these are probably the most powerful drills to incorporate, especially into the end of a warm-up when you're already warm, and we call it getting up to speed, right? We're trying to do things that represent what we're about to accomplish on the floor or in the testing gym, and that is jump reps, okay? But mindful jump reps. So I would recommend, and I know Coach would as well, is as you're warming up to test, we're gonna do about 5 reps of the impulse block, which is the one where we're just bringing that back foot through and popping up off the ground. And then 5 reps of that push punch drill, which is like lower the hips, cover distance, and we're priming the nervous system to be explosive, right? Jumping is by far the most explosive thing the human body can do without the addition of any other load, right? It's getting our whole mass off the ground. So it requires exceptional intent and preparation. You want to say something?
Yeah, I was going to say that, like the mental checklist when you're going through those repetitions before you get ready to test is start with getting a little bit lower, so hips a little bit lower. Keep the chest back as you push. Actually push, create acceleration there, and then really, really quick with that block foot and arm swing, right? And once you get those things through as you practice, then when you go up to actually test, just be calm. Be calm. Don't sit there and think about every position. Just do them in your practice reps before. Take that good calming breath. Let yourself relax before. Just go and be fast in your repetition or in your actual testing. Just be smooth, be fast. Let the results take care of itself. The practice is where you can sit there and think about the positions a little bit.
Yeah. Something that works really well for us in person with athletes that we're bringing through combine testing is exactly what Coach mentioned about breathing. Okay. You can do this, and we recommend doing this before your jump, because when someone says you're getting jump tested, I don't care who you are, there's a certain amount of anxiety that creeps up, like, oh shit, I really want to make sure I jump well. I want to test as high as I can. And there's a lot of times there's a lot on the line with the numbers, right? They're important. They're important to showcase what you've been working on. So before your approach jumps or before your block jumps is take 2 to 3 big, deep belly breaths, right? We're pulling air in, inflating that belly. And as you exhale, I'm talking forceful exhalation, I want you to physically feel your shoulders drop and feel them fall down. Things should start to become quite relaxed through the neck and shoulders. As we're doing this, the breath, we're visualizing the next touch already happening. We're seeing ourselves approach smooth and connected. Every stride into the next, every contact into the next, and everything working perfectly. We do that prior to our jump. The moment we go to actually execute, we've already mentally achieved it. It's already happened. Now we're just putting it into fruition, right? We're making it happen. Off the last breath, when you feel the shoulders fall, I like to call it ride the wave. It's like you have this kind of calmness that's coming over you. Ride that feeling right into your approach. Don't second guess it. Just let it pull you through your jump. Jump ends when you land. Everything's active all the way through the point of toe off, to the point of touch, to the point of landing. We're active, okay? You get so much out of your bodies when you are focused on how important the intent behind the movement is. And I promise you that if you implement some of these things, we should be hearing about some either jump PRs or at least testing higher than you did the other day, okay? This is what we do. We love it. As we mentioned before, we do provide performance training as well as the jump technique, but jump technique is incorporated and included with all of our athletes. We train remote athletes all over the world in all ranks of volleyball and basketball and track and field. So if there's some of you that are interested or don't have a plan of attack for how to manage your training, we'd love to have some of you on board. And I know that Coach there will obviously make sure that we are put in contact. You can reach out to us at any point you want. We're on Instagram. It's a shameless plug, but follow us at Project Pure Athlete. Lots of great free stuff. And we know that if you're on there, that you'll get a lot of value out of it. Okay, this is what we live to do.
Yeah, so when it comes to now your testing, just another quick reminder: intent and relaxed. Right. So if you're doing it and it feels very muscled, like you're pushing into the ground really hard, we're likely going a little slower than we need to. Just intent to be powerful, but be relaxed. You guys are going to do great.
Awesome. Does anybody have any questions, or are we good? I really want to make sure when you're waiting for your turn to jump, do not stand around. Stay bouncy, stay light. That mindset is explosive to be explosive. So implement some of these drills to stay connected to your body, because I know more than anybody, it's you lose that feel, you're done. Okay, so keep connected. Awesome.
All right, thanks everyone.
Thanks so much, guys. Really appreciate it. Thanks for your patience.
Awesome, absolutely. We'll be in contact.
For sure.
All right, good luck.
Take care.